All right, another video on the E36. We're gonna get straight to work right now. So for starters, we are gonna get the oil pump nut off here, which I already broke it loose, and we're gonna get it drilled and safety wired because these are known for backing off. I've heard people say they back off, not turboed or anything, but mine's been fine and it's hit limiter and stuff. But with the turbo stuff, I know hitting limiter and all the extra load or whatever, these nuts back off, and then as you can imagine what happens after that. So the fix is to just safety wire it to the sprocket itself. So we're gonna drill a hole through this bolt or through this nut. So got that off. So we'll get this set up. We'll take a punch and punch so that the drill, you're gonna drill through one corner of it across like this, and then your safety wire will loop through it. So we'll get a punch it and get that hole drilled, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is the safety wire we got. I just ordered it off of Amazon. Okay, so I got the safety wire on. Essentially, you loop it through here, pull it back, and tie it tight here. Then you bring it over, loop it through the backside and then back out the front because you don't want this little nub hanging on the back. And then you just wire tie this tight. The key thing is, though, to make sure you pull the safety wire in the direction that would obviously be holding pressure, keeping the nut tight. You don't want to pull it towards, see how it says loosen? You wouldn't pull it that direction, you'd pull it the opposite direction. I know it's kind of common sense, but some people Loctite them. I didn't bother. The safety wire, if this safety wire doesn't work, then Loctite's not going to work, I don't think. So, but it's nice and tight, shouldn't go anywhere, and I got it torqued to spec, so that's all good. That's thing number one checked off the list. All right, so we got a little bit carried away. The weather ended up kind of warming up a little bit, and we're getting pretty close to being able to get this thing in primer and get it pretty much prepped to be wrapped, essentially. So went ahead and took advantage of that. As you'll see, got the whole car back taped and plasticed off. Didn't realize these little pinholes, but a little dust in there won't hurt anything. But got starting to get everything sanded down. Got started getting this merge where they had those flares molded to the body. It appears there was like they almost like put a small dent in here to help with filling it. I don't know, but body filled it a little bit. It's really only going to be like this little tiny strip. It'll probably be a 1/16 or less of filler. I just know that if I leave it, it'll bug me. So figured might as well tackle it now while we're at this point. So I've been sitting here sanding all these little edges and whatnot. I thought this was funny. So I originally thought maybe this was like a filler or something, but the car has definitely been yellow at some point in its life. So, which is crazy. But they painted completely over this, and I was shocked that hitting this with a sander, I got it down to the original sticker with 0 issues. And then up here I had to hand sand a little bit, and hand sanding it put that scratching in it. So, I mean, we got the sticker uncovered at least. Doesn't look the greatest. And I'm really kind of disappointed about how bad the VIN sticker looks, but we're going to try and preserve it for as long as we can, but it does not look good. So hopefully the VIN on the somewhere else reads good, because this does not. So, but yeah, I got all this stuff sanded. We're just going to primer all these bare metal spots. The jams, the door jams, we're going to paint a different color than everything else. So I plan on spraying the jams black, because black is like just a good neutral color that will go with any color that we decide that we wrap the car. Black just kind of goes with anything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray the jams black, and then we're gonna add a flaky rainbowy clear over the black that will basically give it like that flake effect, like a galaxy flake effect. I figured it's better than having just like a plain black door jamb, and adds a little bit of flair to the car. All right, so like I said, very little filler. As you can tell, it's almost transparent. You can almost see straight through it. But got all that. This is smooth as butter. Still got to get this. There's like some fiberglass resin and stuff still on here I got to get off. And then got all this stuff ready. So we'll tape these off, and then we'll get some primer on these, and then paint the jam next. So it's been a minute since the last clip you guys just saw, but I'm gonna show you guys what we got done, what I got done. All right, so you'll see this is painted. We got this cut here, welded it back. I'm really happy with this. Normally this would be just like a big open hole, but I welded a little piece in there, grinded it nice and smooth. So there was normally a corner here. I basically just did the, I put my 215/40s on and then did the math for how big of a tire that's gonna be on this thing, and it's only a 1/2 inch difference. So I basically just trimmed where I thought it would hit, and then, but we did just get the new wheels, and then I snagged these. I'm obviously not running these to drift on, but these were cheap, and I wanted to at least test fit a 255/35 to see that it'll fit. And then obviously once I confirm that it fits, I will order the actual tires we're gonna run. So we got that done. Door jambs are painted, as you can see. Let me turn the flash on. Door jambs are painted. Came out really good. Also did the door to match. So that's all done. All the edges and stuff painted up, all through here, up here. So all I gotta do with this stuff is give it a good scuff before we wrap it, and then it'll be good to go. Got all of this painted back here, same stuff. We're not gonna paint inside here yet because there's still some fab stuff left I gotta do. So we'll just be grinding paint down. And anyways, I didn't even think about mentioning it, but as you can see, the plastic is off. Got this side painted as well, obviously. So that's all done. What else did we do? So we did get our excess power battery in the battery tray spot. I am pretty stoked about this because we are working with excess power for this season. So they jumped on board, and they are a sponsor for this year. So I'm pretty excited about that because I do like their batteries. I've heard a lot of good stuff about them. So one downside is, though, that when I originally put this battery box in, I guess I didn't do enough due diligence. I knew I wasn't going to run the battery that I test fitted it with. I didn't think about how tall this battery is. So the new dilemma is, as you can see, the battery is going to stick out past this flat surface. So sealing this up would become an issue. So now we have to move the battery back bracket, which sucks a lot because we just welded all of that to the chassis. So got to relocate that. I guess not a huge deal, just kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So originally, the power window situation, the plan was to not run any wiring to it, or at least not wire them to the car, for the simple fact that I, in my head, thought I should have a relay on it. I didn't really want to add a whole nother relay to the car just to have power windows. I don't know, it sounds dumb, I guess. It's just a lot of extra wiring because you have to think because it's a reverse polarity deal, that means there's 2 sets of wires. That means there's 2 sets of wires going to each door, so that's 4 total wires. Or no, that's 8 total wires. Then you add switches into the equation, then a relay. So it's like, it's kind of a lot. And I didn't want to just not run windows because the car, I want it to be able to sit outside. I want to be able to drive it and stuff and not have to worry about that. So the plan was to just run a DeWalt battery, wire a DeWalt battery like slot to where I could just put the battery on it and roll the window up and then roll the window down. In theory, that would work, but trying to find something to reverse the polarity was a little tricky. You'd really just have to find a non-keyed connector that will allow you to flip it, which would be probably pretty easy to do. But once I started digging into it, I just realized that just wiring them to switches without a relay is totally fine, because it's not a constant load. It's very short bursts. You don't have to really worry about a relay. Now, it'd be different if you were constantly running the window motor just nonstop, which you're not. You'd have to like majorly mess something up to do that. That's the only reason why I would need a relay. So basically what I'm getting at is you got these switches and I got a harness already made. I'll show you guys. It's your door harness plug. I already went through and depenned everything. So this is stripped down to literally 2 wires, the power and ground to the motor, and then it just obviously goes through the door into the car. Well, this goes into the car, and then this is the plug that stays on the door, bolts up, and then this goes to the motor. So literally just 2 wires, goes to the door, and then where it gets split up is at the plugs. So what ended up working out perfect is that these window switches literally fit perfectly in here. Literally couldn't get any better. So there's the window switches. Literally, I'll be able to roll the window up, roll the window down, both sides. And then I don't have to worry about, anybody that knows E36s or BMWs in general, the window modules are the biggest joke in the world. So there's a second plug down here. Basically what that does is it allows you to, it drops the window down when you open and close the door. And then it also won't let the window go all the way up if there's resistance, stuff like that, which is nice, I guess, for a luxury street car, but for a race car, I don't care. So it deletes all of that stuff. My windows hardly ever worked before. If you've ever rode in my car, you know that literally I would have to sit there and tap the button to get it to go up and down. So now the nice thing is it just goes straight to the motor. There's nothing that's going to stop it from working. So big plus on that. So right now I'm going to get everything wired up. It's literally, since I bought a harness for these switches, it's literally just the 2 plugs here. One goes to a fused power and then a ground, and then you have the 2 wires that run to each motor on each side. So I'm going to get that wired up now, and then that way we can test fit it. I'm going to wire it to key on power, just to eliminate the chances of something happening with the car off. Just got all the wrap peeled off this door, and I wasn't originally planning to fix this dent, but I think I might be able to get it. I don't know if you can see it, it's hard to tell, but I think I might be able to get the slide hammer right here and not have the body working. If I can just tack weld the stud here and try and pop it. All right, so dent is pretty much non-existent. The opposite effect happened, obviously, because the metal's stretched, but there's a little bit of like a hump here, but I think it'll be less noticeable than dent, so it's good enough for me. The dent's not popping back in. Oh, it's a little bit right there. It's a little buckly right here. So it could pop back in maybe. but for now it seems pretty strong. So we'll break that off, and then this door should be good to go on. Okay, transitioning to the back. I want to start trying to fab up the trunk mount. Previously we had trunk pins. I absolutely hated it. I think it looked terrible. I hate when people run. I don't know, it just ain't for me. I'm sure some people like it. It's just, I'm not a fan. So to avoid that, since I still have the structure of the back of the car, that was the main reason why we ran these, is because before the car was cut off. So until we get to that point, I want to try and make the factory trunk latches work. And because this is a gutted trunk, as you can see, everything from the trunk is gutted. I'm going to make some square tube brackets that basically weld to the trunk panel and then bolt to the trunk hinge. So I just finished cutting a piece of square. So this is a square tube I'm talking about. This is too thick of a diameter right now, so I just took and cut this bottom plate out and test fit it, and it's pushing the trunk up a little bit right here. So you can see from the side there's a little gap. So I got to take a little bit more off, but it's looking pretty freaking good, and it's looking like it's gonna work out good. So I'll show you kind of what we're working with. So that's what would basically be up here, and I would basically tack weld. Well, I'd weld it to the trunk and then probably weld it to the bracket as well. And then up here, so I cut the whole inside of the floor out, but I left the latch part. So I'm gonna try and fab up the factory latch right here so that I can use it and then just run the rod or a cable or something like right here so that I can pop the trunk. If that doesn't work, there's a lot of other ways I could latch the trunk. I'm not really sweating that. The big thing is trying to get it mounted up correctly. So yeah, pretty stoked on that. Obviously, once we get those welded on, we'll pull all the wrap off and then weld these holes closed. And I know we have to body work this area because there's two big dents right here where these are at. I forget why. I can't remember, but for sure gonna have to body work those two spots. But I'm willing to do that on this trunk because this is a really clean trunk, and it's kind of hard to find clean trunks for the coupes. And this has a shaved badge, and it also has the shaved trunk latch. So all right, so we got the trunk on. Not a fan. It warped the crap out of the trunk, as you can imagine, and that was with me like slowly tacking it. It's just thin metal. The trunk is already gutted, so there's no structure. And then the proper way to do this would probably have been to weld a plate to kind of expand that surface area and then weld the bracket to the plate. I didn't really think about it until after I started welding on it, but I was like, whatever, it is what it is. So it's pretty warped. I don't think it's going to be fixable. I'm going to see if I can hammer and dolly it out and then body work it. But it feels pretty bad. Like there's just a lot going on. Same thing over here. I actually already worked on this some. It was so warped that there was like a 1/4 inch bend right here. And so I hammered and dollied that out. I just got to see if this will body work out or not. I'm really not a fan of it altogether after seeing it like welded on. Not really a giant fan of it. But the good news is, since I have the factory brackets, I can just get another trunk and just bolt it up like normal and just gut the weight out of it. Not that it matters, but it does work. I am a little proud of that. So you can see it's welded on there. Just like factory, and then Ugh. Closes. All the gaps are nice. It's lined up perfect. So I'm happy with the fitment and stuff. Just not stoked about it warping. So I don't know. We'll see if we can get it straightened up. The thing I'm worried about is, since it is welded on to the actual shell of this, right? When you open and close this, you're gonna get that flex in the panel. And I'm thinking if I body fill it or anything, it's just gonna crack all the time. So probably not worth it. Shouldn't have even wasted my time on it and just bought a trunk that was ready, but you live and you learn. Get the other door on. Got it all hooked up and ready. I also got the window switches and windows wired. So they're on the key. You see they get power here, so well, you get the lights that light up here. And we got working windows. Pretty sick. So stoked on that. Having windows that will work every single time, and there's not some stupid module that pulls power from the window because it's got resistance on it and all the dumb BMW stuff. So pretty happy with that. Just got a couple little things to clean up wiring wise, and those are completely done. Just got literally one wire in the whole door, which is all it needs and all it should ever had. On both sides. So yeah, well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video on the E36. Hopefully the next time you guys see a video, it is going to be more related to getting the engine in the car and starting to get the ball rolling on hearing it run and stuff for the first time. So really trying to shift our focus from all the little piddly dumb stuff now to the stuff that matters the most, and then we'll come back to all the little dumb stuff. The big thing is we've absolutely got to get this thing running and tuned like soon. So yeah, that's the main focus now, but in the meantime, I will see you guys in the next one.